So made this from a plan that was online. This is PLA Plus on my 3D printer. The guy that actually made it it says Ruckiplex, if you see that on there. I believe it might be the same name on his site. I can't remember. Or on Thingiverse, I should say. So this came off of Thingiverse. It is a EDF, not EDF's thrust in, obviously. So it ranges, it looks like I can go down to 50 mil and I think 40 mil. You can get 40 mil on here as well. But it's got 3 holes. I'm not sure what EDF he was using, but the holes that are there are offset from this one, so you can only use 2, which is fine. It seemed like it's going to be plenty. So I went ahead and did a 3D print on 0.2 millimeter, and then did 100% fill. All the instructions are on his website or on Thingiverse, and I ran it out. These are all M4 screws. He actually used hex heads, but unfortunately Home Depot where I'm at, or M5, sorry, none of them had hex heads, so I had to use Phillips screws, and it worked just fine with the flat ends on. And then screwed it down to this. This was a 1x12 by 4 feet. So this board was $11, $12, I believe. Making the product was, I want to say $3 in material, maybe less. It might have been less than that, a couple, maybe $2, because I used 100% infill. And then these rods, I got 2 of them. They're a little longer than what he recommended, but unfortunately that's all he had. And he's got links on on Thingiverse for what you need exactly. And then these are rollers. Sorry, I got it locked down right now, but they have little ball bearings inside of here with these rollers that are there that fit on there. So I got what was available as far as the rod goes, and I got 4 of these because I'm gonna make 2 of them, I think. One for less power, and then one for the bigger EDFs over 2 or 3 pounds. So then you come back here. His again is a little different. He has it screwed in a shorter board, and then he's got cord wrapped around his and then screwed into a plat like this, but similar setup. This is one I've had for a while, so I'm just now getting to it, but I was using it for thrust testing on a full plane instead of on the bench. I was doing static test from just air pushing out of the back of the EDF onto a scale and getting measurements that way. Worked out great. I mean, it seemed to be fairly accurate because I did take a plane, took the EDF out, or actually had the EDF in the plane, held the plane over the scale and blew air on top of it. And it seemed like I got just about the same power on it as I did on this setup, or similar. So I just hooked this on to something that was stationary and then hooked this to the back of the plane, pull, hit it 100%, and it was within a few points. So to me, if it's, if the whole number is the same, it's close enough. Sometimes, half off or whatever when it's in the plane, but I had it in the plane. It was almost exactly the same power. So, and that was a 64 mil, I believe, or one of the 50 mils I was running. I think it was running 950 with it in my hand, holding over a scale, and then opposed to this hooked to stationary piece and then back of the plane and pulling. It came out the same. So very pleased with that. I tried the pushing against the wall with the scale, or the nose of the plane is pushing against it. I didn't like it. 1, you could damage your plane. 2, the numbers were way off. It was like 200 grams difference. I didn't like it. I can't remember. It's been so long. Anyway, so now I got a scale. This scale you can get on Amazon. Again, a couple bucks. I want to say it was about 15 bucks, maybe 20 bucks. It might have been more than that. It's been almost a year since I've gotten it, so just not getting to it, using it. But it's a luggage scale. So you can look that up on Amazon. This one only has kilograms, ounces, yen, I think. Let me just turn it on, sorry. Or yen, yeah. Measurement and pounds and ounces. So you got these three measurements. So kilograms, obviously, you can easily convert to grams. And yeah, that's it. You put a little weight on it, you know, looks pretty good. And then this strap is a 30-pound strap. This way I can undo it here and remove the strap, or undo it here, and then I can still use an airplane. So once I thrust test it here, and this is why I got the longer board, I'm gonna end up keeping this part on here. So when I want to thrust test a full plane, this unit will stay put. This will be my stationary. And then I can run this across. The only reason why I got this board here is to keep this level, so that it's not laying down, causing friction, or this is being added to, you know, the weight of this is being added to this. So I put it up high, and I think that's how I had it, is up high as well, where this was not giving any readings to the thrust output. So that's why it's here, and this is just here to hold it. So it's a 30-pound strap. Get Home Depot. I think it was $4 or $5. And then obviously this actually, the carabine came with it, and then this is just a hook end that I had, and I screwed it down. So right now, I think all in all in this whole setup is probably about $50, maybe, if that. So instead of 100 and something bucks you can spend on a thrust stand that does just one thing, you now have a couple of things that you can use this for. You got multiple size EDFs that you can use. Obviously, you'll need power, you know, your power management system. You can use a servo tester and an ESC that's going to hold whatever power system you're going to use, and also a watt meter. You know, watt meters I think are about 10 or 15 bucks on Amazon, and I'll do a little bit better video next time around with all of that connected and running. And then in there I'll probably put links up to Amazon where I got all the stuff from and cost. So very cool. I mean, I'm happy that I found this on Thingiverse. I was looking for thrust stands that I could build that wasn't going to be 100 bucks. I think it was like 200 bucks almost for the, it's not JP, one of those other companies that's out there that makes thrust stands, and it's a little out there. So it is what it is. This will work, and it will work just fine. He ran his up with, I think, an 80 mil. I don't think it was a 90 mil, I can't remember. From one of his systems, and it was 34, 35 grams of thrust. Held it perfectly fine. I actually sat here and pulled on it, and I mean, this thing didn't but, oh boy, I put 20 drops back. I gotta tighten that up. Anyway, I gotta tighten out one of these screws. Put it here and push my hand on it, which ain't gonna matter anyway. So what I end up doing is taking this weight and pulling on it and seeing how much it'll hold. And I think I got up to, let's see, 20 or 30 pounds, and it held just fine. Let's see what's this. I'm gonna do this right there, 15 pounds right there. I mean, it's not even, there's no budge. It's not even straining. Yeah. I think this is flexing more than anything. But it seems to be pretty good health, man. I got no complaints whatsoever. So I'm gonna play with this thing right now. You know, this will be 6 to 8 pounds. I don't think I'll be going over 10 pounds on this system. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe one day I'll have something nice and neat that I can use. And zero back out after I teared it. That I could use to get some serious power and see how it works. But right now I'm gonna test this stock. Next video should be me testing this 90 mil on the stock system, and then using the other 1900 kV out of the F22 and testing it and seeing how much more thrust I'll get out of this. Yeah, Ruckyplex, RUCKYPLEX. Google it, or go on Thingiverse and look for EDF thrust stand, and it should come up. And that's that. Again, his is a little different. His is just for, and also too, his was shortened quite a bit, and then he had 2 clamps on it, which I do have clamps to clamp it down, give it some clamp force on the table. That way it doesn't move. All you need is really is 2 if you're not doing anything crazy with it, but 2 should be fine for anything that's electric EDF. And if you got a flat table, you can do that, or you can do it on the ground and put your foot on it. You'll be good. You ain't gotta have any clamps, or hold it if it's gonna be this long. But the reason why I left it this long again is so I can set my EDFs on top, use this, and I have something that it can hold on to, or I can just, really, I could just flip this around and use a strap. I did use this today for testing purposes, where I used this, and I hooked them into the, into this part, and then I hooked one on each end of the strut, on each strut in the rear of the landing gear, the mains, and it pulled nice. I used a little X-Fly SU-27, and it did good. And you know, obviously pull these are stretchy bungee cords, so it relaxed, it pulled it out as far as it needed to. I got an accurate reading, and then that was good. I thought it was great. So we'll go from there. More tests and updates to come here sooner than later. Appreciate you watching.